Not being recognized as the rocket with the highest thrust and largest volume in human history, Musk's new spacecraft underwent its second launch. Although all three engines were functioning normally, the separation between the first and second stages of the rocket did not occur as expected, and shortly after, the second stage rocket experienced failures. In the end, the spacecraft disintegrated and exploded. SpaceX officially announced the launch failure, which was the 14th attempt. On the 9th day, there were 5 failures, but the testing objectives were met, even though none of the attempts were completely successful. Musk immediately declared on Twitter that he would continue launching the spacecraft in a few months until success was achieved. Why does the Starship fail repeatedly? Why does Musk insist on continuing to try? Today we will discuss Musk's Starship plan and its ultimate goal. To understand why Musk is so obsessed with rockets, we need to go back to his childhood. Looking at his trajectory, it becomes clear that his life is as grand as a rocket soaring into the sky. In 1971, Musk was born in South Africa. His father, a mechanical engineer of British and Dutch descent, lived in South Africa while his mother was Canadian and had been a model. When Musk was under 10 years old, his parents separated and he went to live with his father, which helped shape his future transformation. Influenced by his father, Musk developed a deep passion for science and engineering, being a typical science student. When Musk was 10 years old, his father bought him a computer and he learned to program. 2 years later, he created a space game and sold it for $50 to a magazine, earning his first money. This was the beginning of Musk's entrepreneurial spirit. In 1988, at 17, Musk graduated from high school and moved to Canada, his mother's homeland, to live with relatives. The academic atmosphere in North America was excellent. After obtaining Canadian citizenship, he was accepted into Queen's University in Canada. Later, Musk received a scholarship to the Wharton School of the University of Pennsylvania in the United States to study economics. During this time, he began to develop an interest in 3 cutting-edge areas: the internet, clean energy, and space launches. After obtaining his degree in economics, Musk also completed a degree in physics. In college, Musk was known for his participation in parties, but also for studying all night long. Despite always seeming to have fun, he excelled in every test. His learning ability was exceptional, and he stood out in physics, engineering, economics, finance, and social sciences. In 1995, at 24, Musk entered Stanford University to pursue a PhD in materials physics and applications, an excellent academic opportunity for anyone. However, on the second day of classes, Musk decided to drop out and pursue entrepreneurship. This was a turning point in his life. He had developed a small online software called Zip2 and secured angel investment from a Silicon Valley company. Musk realized this was an opportunity to enter the business world and decided to leave university to develop the software, which ended up attracting clients like the New York Times and the Chicago Tribune. In 1999, Compaq acquired Zip2 for $307 million, and Musk received his first large sum in stock, $22 million. He immediately resigned and used half of this amount to found an online financial services company, X.com, with 2 other partners. Musk also bought a McLaren F1 supercar, the most advanced of its time. The online payment sector was rapidly evolving, and a year later, Musk transformed X.com into the Chinese version of PayPal, which would be equivalent to Alipay in China. In 2002, PayPal was acquired by eBay, the largest global e-commerce platform, for $1.5 billion, of which Musk received $165 million. However, Musk was ousted from PayPal after the acquisition due to an internal project he had planned called Oasis on Mars. The aim of this project was to create a laboratory on Mars to test if Earth's crops could grow in Martian soil. This plan was considered by the board members as absurd and off the company's central focus. After receiving the money, Musk decided that if others weren't interested, he would invest himself. He used a large portion of the funds, $100 million, to found a space exploration company, SpaceX. After that, Musk invested in companies like Tesla, SolarCity, and others, almost exhausting all his resources. His goal was to use the money from these companies to fund SpaceX's rocket launches. At that time, There were no private space launch companies. Only national space agencies had the capability for space launches, and it was difficult to get funding as few investors believed in the potential of this field. Musk decided to personally invest and seek the most cost-effective way to achieve his goal. After researching, Musk discovered that the financial internet industry and rocket launching were completely different sectors. Even with $100 million, investing in space launches was not enough to make progress, so he turned his attention to Russia, which had many space legacies from the Cold War era. In February 2002, Musk went to Russia with a rocket expert to negotiate the purchase of rocket engines. However, the Russians, who were more interested in selling weapons, showed little interest and demanded an exorbitant price. The Russians told Musk that if he didn't have the money, he should give up working with rockets. The negotiation failed, and Musk decided to develop his own rocket engines despite the difficulties. After returning to the United States, Musk found that developing rocket engines on his own was not feasible. So he went to Moscow 3 times and ended up spending $10 million to obtain engines. Most of SpaceX's employees came from NASA's space sector, which had seen a significant reduction in funding, and many professionals were unemployed, providing an opportunity for SpaceX. Musk also received support from Thomas Muller, a rocket engine expert who had worked at TRW Aerospace, responsible for developing the first US intercontinental ballistic missile. Muller was introduced to Musk and accepted the challenge of developing a more powerful rocket engine. The plan was to create a giant rocket capable of transporting humans from Earth to Mars. This rocket, named Starship, differs significantly from traditional rockets. Traditional rockets are disposable. After launching the spacecraft and satellite into orbit, the main stage is discarded and burned up. For a new launch, a new rocket must be built, which is expensive and time-consuming. Musk decided to take an innovative approach: recover and reuse rockets. This required a powerful rocket engine. Muller began developing the Merlin engine, which in 2009 had its development time halved due to optimizations, but Musk requested an even shorter timeline. SpaceX survived several bankruptcies due to its persistence in reducing development time. The Merlin engine was tested on the Falcon 1, SpaceX's first rocket, but faced many problems, and the European Space Agency even mocked the engine, considering it of poor quality. The main difficulty was the lack of funds, and the Falcon 1 could not perform test flights, putting the company in a tough spot. All employees who said it was impossible were fired, and there were no investors interested in SpaceX. However, NASA stepped in. NASA was looking for competent space suppliers to advance its space projects and saw SpaceX as an opportunity, investing a small amount, about a few $1,000,000. NASA at that time was willing to invest, without offering technical support, only financial support, as SpaceX was not an established company like Boeing or Lockheed Martin. With this investment, the Falcon 1 made its first successful flight after months of attempts, marking the first time a rocket from a private company managed to reach Earth's orbit. The commercial launch cost of the Falcon 1 was $400,000, compared to $100 to $200 million for traditional rocket launches, a fifth of the price. The Falcon 1 helped launch a satellite for Malaysia, and this success attracted many investors, including Google, which invested billions of dollars. With the funding, SpaceX began developing the Falcon 9, a larger rocket with 9 Merlin engines and the first attempt at stage recovery. From 2008 to 2010, after hundreds of tests and iterations, Falcon 9's vertical recovery technology matured, and SpaceX secured major contracts, including with NASA and Roscosmos, to transport astronauts to the International Space Station. After the success of Falcon 9, SpaceX developed the Falcon Heavy, a rocket with a higher payload capacity. It was designed to transport heavy payloads to Earth's orbit and even to Mars. However, Musk's true goal was the development of Starship, a rocket with twice the capacity of Falcon Heavy. The idea was to make space exploration accessible and sustainable, enabling travel to Mars and beyond. Today, even with the repeated failures of Starship tests, Musk continues to insist on his plans. The reason is clear. SpaceX is not only seeking to reduce the costs of space exploration, but also to create a sustainable and continuous base for humanity in space. Despite the setbacks, Musk believes each failure brings a valuable lesson and brings SpaceX closer to its ultimate goal. He firmly believes that the key to the future of space exploration lies in reuse and innovation, and is willing to invest the time and resources necessary to achieve this goal.